Hi, I'm Ryan Locke and I'm the Program Director for the upcoming MA Master of Arts in Architecture and Urbanism here at the Kharkiv School of Architecture. Previously I was working in Stockholm where I directed a Master's in Urbanism Studies at the Royal Institute of Technology, and I came into contact with Oleg Drozdov, who invited me to come to Lviv and meet the Kharkiv School. And he shared with me his vision of creating a new master program aimed at training architects and planners, landscape architects towards the project of urban recovery and reconstruction in Ukraine. A year ago, after I first came to Lviv, Oleg invited me to go on a trip traveling around Europe to meet our potential friends and partners for the future program. And we first came into contact with Professor Robert Mull when we went to London. A few months later, Robert Mull introduced a really interesting proposal to us to work on an international collaboration involving Swedish students, Polish students, and Irish students from the University of Limerick. And from that point, we started building this workshop, focusing on creating sustainable solutions for the future of urban recovery in Dnipro.
I've been privileged to help initiate the Build Back Better workshop and to teach it as well. There's been extraordinary outcomes from Build Back Better. There have been diverse proposals that deal with, I suppose, two aspects of recovery. One might call soft forms of recovery, an interest and a concentration on identity, on history, on mythology, on governance, on participatory processes, on community, and on things like circular economy. And then on the other side, hard forms of knowledge, hard forms of recovery, infrastructure, transport, power, water, a whole series of tough problems that have been addressed. But I suppose for me, one of the most important and enduring outcomes of Build Back Better is the community of practice that has been formed amongst the participants and amongst the different scales of activity. The empathy, generosity, understanding that has been formed will endure long after the workshop itself. I think also the degree to which that set of values, that state of mind, simulates and begins to think about or show the forms of thinking and working that will be necessary to bring about an equitable and sustained future for Ukraine. And in parallel, the degree to which exactly those ways of thinking are also the beginning of the new master's course at the Kharkiv School of Architecture. All extremely important and exciting. And thank you to everybody who took part in the workshop and will take part in future workshops.
A lot of this project came together over many months of planning and work that no one will ever see. But what happened here in Lviv and watching the students interact with each other and the processes and the friendships that they built and just all of the intensive discussions and late night work makes everything worth it.
I first heard about the Build Back Better workshops when I contacted the Kharkiv School of Architecture looking to collaborate on a net zero housing design. I spoke with Oleg and he put me in touch with Agra and Robert, who took the time to explain the concept of the workshops to me, the holistic nature of the chapters and the way it was divided between Lviv and Warsaw. And I very much saw the value and the potential impact of what they were doing. So the resources that I had available to me, I moved towards Agra and Robert because I very much believed in what they were trying to do. And it was much more in line with NLC's localization principles. For NLC, Dnipro acts as a major hub for our activities in the eastern Ukraine. And I really believe that the vision of a regenerated Dnipro would act as a platform to inspire the green recovery of Ukraine and also empower local communities.
We really thought we are in a different universe, we are in a different place. We are being here on the ground. Warsaw is, in that sense, a little bit distant. Also the students there come from all over the world. So we take really different positions. So they look at it from another view, which is just as valuable as the view from here, but intermingled, they give more to the whole process.
And for the Swedish, Polish and Irish people, it's very interesting to see that and to try to understand. This topic is about Ukraine, to really try to understand Ukrainian culture, to live it, to feel it, to have a lot of small discussions, to try to drink beer together through the screen. I see that the Ukrainians, they are a little bit more timid. They could easier stand up and speak out what they want, what they see, what they feel, because we need to hear that. Ukrainians need to hear that, but also Europeans need to hear that. What does this new generation want, and how do they see their future and their challenges? It is nice. It's also good to see how it works, because we need to have this connection between Ukraine and other countries to understand each other, to help each other both ways.
Our project as a district team was more about new approaches to the architecture and residence. In terms of architecture, not just as a building, as a structure, as something physical, but more about the experience that people can feel in the spaces that we create, about the programming spaces, about programming the architecture.
Our district group has been focusing on microrayon, Перемога in Dnipro, which has been very well known in Dnipro because it accommodates one of the first skyscrapers in the city. It has its local landmarks. It definitely has a place on a map in Dnipro and well known there. And in our recovery project, we address the question of community building as one of the central questions of creating vision for future of the district. Therefore, our studio proposes a toolbox for the community where everyone is welcome to engage in contributing to the vision of the future of microrayon, bringing such questions as cultural exchange, ecology, community building, water management questions, and public spaces in the center of the recovery.
Our topic was the river on the largest scale, so there are different scales, and we took the whole river like it's floating from north to south, with all its different aspects. We were looking at the dam system, how it evolved, so we were looking into the history of it, but also the present state with all the pollution, which is agricultural pollution, it's industrial pollution, but also war pollution by now. There's a lot of mines in the water, there's a lot of war rubble in the river. So to look at that scale and to look of how we can remediate that in a slow and longer pace. We came up with the idea of creating a pathway which is like a footpath. You can take it by foot, you can take it by bike, or you can take it by boat. So it's a slow route along this river, pointing at those different points. So it's stopping at a dam and explaining a dam system, and to look at how those dams can be improved, how they can be better, we can create fish ladders to do so. But also it stops at a point where you can see an ecological farm and see how they better the agricultural circumstances. And it stops also at leisure places where you can swim in the river and take it for tourism. So it's a slow route along this long river in a sometimes slow process of recovery.
It's the heart maybe, or the long connecting and collecting part of many years of Ukraine. Many centuries of Ukraine. The Dnipro River connects it all, has it all, the history, the culture, the energy, the water, the life. So we see the Dnipro River as a source of life, and how can we strengthen that? How can we ensure that? And how can we facilitate that? And how can we, as designers, make it more beautiful?
This intense period was very interesting and also very important at this moment in time, to have so many people, younger, older, Ukrainian, to think about the future and to think about the possibilities. In this case, it's all concentrated about the Dnipro River, which is basically the symbol of Ukraine. And to think about that symbol and to think about the future, how we can imagine it, how we can see it for future generations, how architects and urbanists can play a role there. For me, it's a crucial moment in time, and I'm very happy to be part of that.
The Kharkiv School of Architecture needs to be supported by the international community. Our workshop in Warsaw brought together students from Ukraine, from Ireland and from Sweden, and it took place in a city whose history provides the best example of the spirit of post-war reconstruction. Our students gained a lot from researching Warsaw as part of this project, in particular in understanding post-war rebuilding efforts and the magnitude of such undertaking. We felt incredibly welcomed and supported by institutions such as the Warsaw Observatory of Culture and the National Institute of Architecture and Urban Planning, who gave us their spaces, as well as Igala Charity, Arab Poland and Warsaw Polytechnic, and everyone recognized the significance and urgency of this project. I think that by supporting young architects, researchers and thinkers, the Kharkiv School of Architecture can contribute to this wider discussion about post-conflict rebuilding in other locations, as well researching new technologies, new typologies and new materials to lay the foundation for a more resilient and sustainable tomorrow. The master's program at the Kharkiv School of Architecture aspires to be at the forefront of this discussion on how to create a better and more sustainable future for Ukraine.
It was an amazing 2 weeks where we had an opportunity to communicate, to engage with residents of our district that we were working on, with people in my team, with amazing team that I had an opportunity to work with, numerous amazing lectures about current issues in Ukraine and architecture. And I'm pretty sure this is another step towards the new approach in architecture in Ukraine, which is very, very important thing for us in the future.
Ми сфокусувалися на вивченні того, що є дім зараз. Це є особливо актуально в Україні наразі через військові події, тому що багато людей залишилися без дому зовсім, багато змінили місце свого проживання. І для багатьох стало складно визначити, що саме є дім в цих обставинах, які змінилися. Тому ми, власне, почали з дослідження досвіду власного, що є такий дім, і потім перемкнулися на дослідження сусідства, конструюючи персонажів, так би мовити, які водночас представляють певні уявлення про те, що є сталим сусідством, і водночас є персонажами такої собі партисипативної гри, в якій кожен може визначити своє місце і кожен може сприяти налагодженню цього вдалого сусідства.
Частина будинку, з яким ми працювали, була зруйнована внаслідок влучання російської ракети, і це складна тема. У нас були інтерв'ю з жителями. Основна їхня була ідея, що місто їх не чує. Ми попробували послухати і запропонували пропрацьовувати травму поступово. Якщо вони не будуть групуватися і приймати якісь спільні рішення стосовно середовища, де вони живуть, то місто прийме замість них і побудує їм. Ми там, для прикладу, робили висотку на місці зруйнованого будинку, або якусь там жахливу архітектуру у вигляді качечки. Ну, такий кричащий метод, щоб люди задумалися.
Зрештою, через інтерв'ю з жителями ми спробували зрозуміти, в чому є потреби, і, власне, зробити певні проєктні пропозиції до того, як ці потреби можна задовольнити. Але ми робимо акцент на тому, що наші пропозиції є скоріше стартовою точкою для розмови на цю тему. І ми хотіли би, щоб вони були сприйняті саме як натхнення, а не як певна стала кількість ідей і сприяли подальшій розмові.
Колеги з Варшави запропонували також стіл великий, експозиція їхня була у вигляді столу, але там були тарілки з рішеннями. Тобто кожен житель міг ніби сісти і прийняти участь в обговоренні. Загальна ідея була, щоб люди зібрались докупи і почали думати.
So for me, this workshop was really fantastic because I meet a lot of interesting people around. So we work on a really nice project. It's a city, so I'm a city planner, like studying it.
Maybe the most interesting part for me was making wooden models with different cutting machines and laser machines. I'm crazy about cutting something and making something so beautiful. And in my university, I don't have such an opportunity to work with cutting machines and real wood.
I took a lot of new skills, also to work with schemes, new programs. The most important is people, because I have new relations, friendships.
I'm absolutely amazed how it was a possible delivery such kind of quality ideas, models and graphics, drawings, images. It's quite enormous productivity.
They work in a situation where they are students, but they're also acting as though they were in a research lab or as though they were working in a studio. And just watching this all come together and the kinds of things that they can build and create within 10 days of work has been incredible.
In the exhibition space, you can see right away the boards which students made with the vision, highlighting the green infrastructure. And then on the sides, they try to bring the emotion into the city, because it's so hard to look at the city from the master plan point of view and realize what it would really mean to the citizens. And in the separate collages and visions, students showed how it would be for the people of Dnipro city, the old residents and the newcomers, to enjoy the new infrastructure.
Здається, що нам це все вдалося, можливо, саме завдяки тому, що у нас був такий стислий термін і така велика кількість студентів, котрі з'їхалися для вирішення цієї задачі з різних університетів, з різних шкіл. Тому всі мали різні підходи, мали різне бачення, і нам вдалося швидко знайти багато цікавих ідей, які ми потім консолідували в одну єдину стратегію розвитку міста. Ця стратегія, власне, повинна не лише вирішити наявні проблеми в місті Дніпро, такі як розірвана міська тканина, складність комунікації, розмита ідентичність, але й дати якісь певні напрямки для майбутнього розвитку. Тобто зрозуміти не лише, як виправити проблеми, але і як зробити місто кращим в тому баченні, яким воно могло бути в майбутньому.
What we did here in this workshop, where we united international students with Ukrainian students, is what we would hope to see in the future Masters of Arts. And when the time comes, I hope that we can see international students working here with our students in Ukraine. It's amazing to see them over just a short span of 2 weeks form these kinds of working relationships together.
Everything that happens, it's a little bit condensed idea of curriculum of master program. As well, it's like a testing everything, like a future community of tutors and students, as well as ideas, methodologies during the very short time. And I could imagine how we will enjoy much more deeper, longer program coming September.
I told all of these students when I was first communicating with them through emails, I warned them that this was going to be really intensive, that there was going to be a lot of hard work, but that it would also be really rewarding, that they would make friends, that they would learn so much. And from the feedback that I've received from them, all of that happened. But what I would like to see for the master's program is that everything that we've done here in 2 weeks just becomes expanded into a whole semester and then another semester. And I think that this workshop has really helped us to form the basis of a new master's program. You know, we wanted students to come here and feel the environment of the Kharkiv school and to see what it's like and spend 2 weeks being a Kharkiv school student. And they did exactly that. After the first week, they were here, they were working in our model shop, they were reading books out of our library, they were fully feeling like students here. I even saw some students taking naps in the corner and on the bean bags that we have on the floor like real Kharkiv school students do. So it's just been really fun to watch how quickly they can make a home here and how quickly they become friends with each other. And that's why I like working with this. I like working with international students. I like working with our international partners. Like for me, it's just so rich to be a part of that environment, and then I'm honored to be here.
Молоді архітектори з неупередженим поглядом та енергією побудують саме нову Україну, Україну майбутнього. Бо будувати вони будуть саме для себе та таких же молодих українців.